like later on in the episode. So I want to bring up the Kendrick. What was the name of the song? Is it the Heart?
The Heart Part 5.
The Heart Part 5.
Yeah, I think so.
So your thoughts, because it's super intrigued about like, oh, what are we gonna get? Is it gonna be very Baby Keem feature like, or is it gonna be this new approach? So how did that song visual resonate with you?
I thought the song was amazing. It kind of had an open mic type of vibe where it, obviously didn't have like a chorus or any like traditional song elements to where like.
And it still was like 4.5, 5 minutes long.
Yeah, it was like super long. It was definitely one of those things where it's a moment you experience, you watch what's taking place, and then you kind of move on. Like, I don't know if I'll be replaying this in the car, but
But yeah, to your point, like that's like those lyrics only hit harder when you're watching it.
Right.
Like you gotta watch it. There's no way you hit like the lyrics like, oh, this is cool. But then when you see like who's saying it, then you're like, oh my God, like that's some fucking artistry level shit right there.
Right. Like Nipsey's part, I think everyone was blown away. That and the mannerisms and just what he was saying, everything made complete sense. And I think Kendrick just showed he's just a different type of artist. Like he's not out here just making songs. Like he has an actual message, and he's just obsessed with the artistic aspect of it. Like, and I feel like a lot of other rappers don't appreciate that or feel like they can't, or just simply don't do that. And that's one of the reasons why people call him the GOAT, because he doesn't really make, bubblegum shit. And even if he does make catchy stuff like Humble or whatever the case is, he still finds a way to throw in a message there and add some substance. So I'm super looking forward to Thursday.
Yeah.
Night.
Oh, dude. Like I may stay up tomorrow night and just like, I hate waking up and you're like, bro, this song. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
Dude, but a great word you said was message. Like, dude, it really is that. But what I'm more like impressed by, like, it's never like preachy. You know what I mean? Like, whereas even with J. Cole, who's like considered one of the GOATs, right? It's like preachy at times, right? I'm just like, all right, man, like, fuck, we get it. Like, you don't want kids doing drugs or whatever. Like, what else? You know what I mean? Whereas with him, it's just like, fuck, man. He says it in such a like smart, clever way that it's like, dude, how can you not love this guy for loving hip hop so much, but also being a great commentary on like society right now. You know what I mean? Like that shit is fire. And to do that in a non-preachy, making you feel like guilty about your own choices kind of way is just great, bro. But to the song in the video, bro, I'd be surprised if the song's even on the album, to be honest. Like I think it was just maybe like a
I don't think from what I hear, all of these like heart part whatever drops, he does it before every album, and it's never on it. It's like kind of almost like a movie trailer in a sense.
Oh, dope. I didn't realize that was a thing. Nice. Yeah. Okay. Dope. That's even fucking more creative. That's phenomenal. But yeah, dude, I'm excited for the album, bro. Like, it's wild. Again, it's funny. I think you just mentioned it a little bit while ago. Like some artists can't do what he does, right? So it's like, do you fault him for that, or do we just acknowledge, like, yo, like of everything, bro, like of the Avenger stones, you know, for Thanos, like he just has all of them, bro. Like he really just does, bro. He can make the hit record. You'll play it in the club. He can make the pop charting things, but then he can make this shit, and you're just like, bro, this guy has everything, right? Because like when I was watching this video, like literally a couple hours ago, getting ready for the show again, I was like, dude, could Drake make this? And I'm like, he couldn't. He couldn't, bro. Like it wouldn't even be close, right? And then is that Drake's fault? It's like, no, that's just not who he is. You know what I mean? But Drake has other talents, right? And maybe Kendrick really can't do it because Kendrick's persona, we wouldn't believe it. So you know what I mean? Like I feel like Drake has his lane and he's phenomenal. And because he's so good at it, we like elevate him rightly to the best of the best. Like maybe there's 3 or 4 of you, but you 4 are separate from everything else here. But bro, I feel like with this song and just going back to old Kendrick shit and listen to the Baby Keem features from last year, you're like, yeah, this dude, it's hard to say this guy's not the best, bro. Like, yeah, it's so much easier to find arguments that he is than anything to say that he's not, you know?
Mm-hmm. And it's another thing is, I mean, he hasn't released an album in 5 years, and it's like he never left in terms of how excited people are to hear his music. Like people are damn near gonna turn tomorrow night into like a holiday, like just to take time to listen to every single track. And not many artists can do that. Like, you're gone for more than a year, people are pretty much gonna forget you unless you're like a J. Cole or Kendrick. So yeah, I'm super looking forward to it. I think why people appreciate his art is because it's not so literal. Like, he could have in this song instead been like, you know, R.I.P. Nipsey, why'd they have to kill him? Like, he was a revolutionary or some shit. But instead of doing that, he spoke from Nipsey's perspective. And I feel like that's what makes art less corny. Because just to name a couple people like Logic or whoever else, a lot of these guys don't do it from that perspective. And it's just like, they might literally say, man, I wish, you know, I wasn't treated like I was black or white. I'm biracial or whatever. Instead of doing that, they could find a more creative way to get the message across. And I think that's why Kendrick is so loved. Joyner even has some elements of that creativity in his videos, which I appreciate. As much as people say.
I think I said he was copying Joyner with that deep fake.
Oh yeah, the Kanye one.
yeah. That was good. Good. But dude, it's funny though, because we were just talking about like the TikTok and this age of social media. I think with him though, bro, like Kendrick, he gets away from not being the norm, right? Like, he doesn't post. Like, we don't know what the fuck he's doing day to day, right? But because we respect the artistry so much, we don't give a fuck. Bro, come back whenever you want to come back. Post when you want to post. We're ready to go, right? Yeah. But I think because we are sold on the artistry, we have too many examples of him delivering on the art. Whereas that's why my fear for Jack is like, dude, I don't know how many more chances you're going to get from us. You know what I mean? Like, fam, like, all right, your first album was whatever. Like, yo, dude, solid. You know, we shouldn't expect much. But damn, that the gap between that to your second one, dude, we expect a lot. So for you to fall short, we're like, bro, like, I don't know how many more swings you're gonna have at this, right? If you want to be a rapper we respect. Now, if you want to be a rapper who's always around and relevant, but not like, you know, hits, fine, dude. Dude, there's a pocket for that. But I think that Kendrick gets so much rope to do his own thing because, bro, from day one, we're like, all right, dude, this guy's about it. He fucking respects this art form, and dude, we're gonna give him as much rope as he wants to, like, drop it album every 3 years, every year, every 5 years. Like, dude, we don't even give a fuck as long as we get something from you. Right,
100%. And he's an artist that knows how to make a fucking album. I think a lot of these other guys, don't understand how to make a cohesive project. And I'm not going to pretend like I know the formula to that shit in the first place. But Kendrick knows how to put together a body of work. He's not a singles guy. He's not a features guy. And I feel like a lot of these new guys are just putting together a random, you know, fucking combination of songs and calling it an album.
Yeah.
Or they're used to only putting out bangers and doing features, and they're putting out an album just because it's like the thing to do, I guess. And I don't think it does them any service because we're evaluating it as a body of work. And if it doesn't really leave us feeling an impact other than, oh, I you know, glanced through it and pulled a few bangers for, like, you know, barbecue party or something. In those cases, like, it's not something that would make sense to me. Like, you just don't need to put out a body of work unless you're really trying to get a message across. And I feel like Kendrick always does that.
To your point, yeah, like, you don't know the formula, but you're not supposed to, bro. And like, we're not even telling other rappers they need to know the formula. But if you don't, you can also just not drop an album. You know what I mean? Like, you can just keep dropping singles every 4 or 5 weeks or whatever, and just like I think Russ does a great job of that. Like, bro, he just drops like a new single like every other week, and people love him. And it's like, all right, we'll just take this from you. So, like, yeah, because it's hard when you then have these comparisons of like, yo, but this body of work, like song 1 met song 16, and like even like IDK for whatever reason is great at that. You know what I mean? Like, even if it's a short body of work or a long album, like, it all kind of just makes sense. So yeah, I think to your point, like, I'm excited for this, especially if it's like a 24 track album. Like, I'm excited to see how that, you know, works, because, you know, with these double albums, like, it gets that much harder.
Yeah. And I hope it's all good, because I kind of get nervous when these artists do like double albums or have like 40 tracks and shit, because I'm like, inevitably there's going to be some throwaways.
100%. Bro.
But even his throwaways are going to be,
they're going to be good, but then you're only comparing it to the other songs, the albums that are bangers. You're like, bro, like, like this is 3 hours of my life.
Right. So we'll see.
We'll see. I'm excited for that. That drops. We're recording this on Wednesday, May 11th. That drops on the East Coast at midnight on the 13th. So,